It's Liam Alexander-Stewart from Inside the Ropes here, joined today by a truly wonderful guest. He's overcome paralysis and being told to avoid trampolines and contact sports at the age of just 4. And despite that, he's gone on to have a fantastic career in pro wrestling while being one of the nicest men in the industry, and without a doubt, one of the funniest in the industry. It's none other than Dylan Swoggle Postl. Dylan, how are you doing today?
Very good. That was quite the intro. Obviously, you read the book. Thank you for doing so. Here we go. I'm pumped to finally be doing this. It's gonna be great.
We've been wanting to do this for a while. You're a bucket list guest of mine for sure.
Oh, thank you.
We always say you talk about the nicest guys in wrestling, and yourself and Sean Waltman always get brought up. And knowing the influence that Waltman had on your career, I mean, it's a match made in heaven, really. So
that makes me happy to be known as that, because it's usually either real nice or the biggest locker room bully, which both are completely true, and I will not deny either of those. But it's also to hear at times about the nice following.
Oh, 100%. Well, you know what it's like with wrestling news and everything. You know, the negative stuff always sells better. So, you forgive me if I take that little clip of the biggest locker room asshole, and we'll run with that one.
Fine by me. That's okay.
I mean, before we properly get chatting, how are you finding sort of life towards the end of the pandemic? How's everything affected sort of your day-to-day life and wrestling as a guy on the scene?
A funny thing is like Kurt Hawkins, I call him Hawkins, Brian Myers, whatever people want to call him these days, the stripper from the one episode of SmackDown, whatever you go by. He made a good point. Like in Wisconsin, the pandemic and COVID never really was real, so to speak.
Got you.
We shut down for like a month and a half, 2 months, and it sucked. But I've been spending more time with my son. My son was doing full homeschool at the end of last year, and then 50-50 this year, and then finally the second semester till tomorrow is his last day. Has been fully back in school, which is amazing. Yeah. They needed that. The kids needed that. But I've loved it. Being able to have virtual school with my son and be around him. It's stressful, but I love. If there's another thing to put on that belt, I just love being a dad. It's my favorite. It's my favorite part of life. It really is. And he's such a good kid, and he's fun and he's funny. He woke me up at 6:30. I posted on my Twitter. He woke me up at 6:30 this morning, blasting, pardon my French, fucking AC/DC. I was so angry at him. I've never I said, Landon, it's 6:30. We don't need to hear Hell's Bells and TNT and this, that, and the other thing on repeat at 6:30 a.m. I don't care that you're happy that the school year's over. I don't. Just put on something smooth. Put on some anthem lights or something nice.
Yeah.
You don't need to be blasting AC/DC. He goes, Dad, start of the day. Let's go. But he's just the best. I have so much, as you can see on my social media, I have so much fun with him. Whether it's just pranking the hell out of him every day. Literally, I try to get him every day with one thing or another. I try to get him, and it's just fun. I love being a dad. So, roundabout back to your question, pandemic has actually been not awful. My company, ACW Wisconsin, has actually been running since last August. We took 2 months off, but then we've been running COVID friendly shows and social distancing, and it's been awesome. It's really been pandemic. As much as it's sucked, it's also I've tried to find the positives in it.
Yeah, I think it's clear to anyone who followed your social media, be it your Twitter, your Instagram, just sort of how much being a dad means to you. And I think anyone who remembers their relationship with their dad or is a parent themselves, seeing clips of you knocking over the Funko Pops and everything like that. Or
he got so mad about that Funko Pop thing. He took all the boxes, and I was so proud of him. He took all his Funko Pop boxes off the top of his closet and organized them on the floor and stacked them how he was going to put them back up. He has like 65, 70 Funkos. And I saw it and I go, this is my opportunity. I'm not going to have this in 5 minutes from now. Being a father, I need to take this opportunity, and just knocking it down. He came out after the video cut. He came out and goes, Dad, I had it done. I was literally putting them up and you had to ruin it. But it's stuff like that part of me feels bad at times. Like I'm just bullying him, but also it's never mean-spirited. And it's like, we both laugh at it. And it's something that later in life, like I have so many videos and pictures, and like this, his high school graduation is just going to be this in the background. Like it's just going to be the best. And I love it.
Well, it's these memories, obviously, that, you look back on, and, I think it's great that you're sharing them with everyone. And it's the best thing about technology.
And with social media, if my thing is too, if someone's having a rough day and they get a laugh out of me picking on my child, perfect.
I think you mentioned there, you mentioned Finlay, and you mentioned, liking to get a pranking on your son every day. You yourself have been, the victim makes it sound worse than it is. You have
are we talking about this goddamn chicken thing?
We're talking about this goddamn chicken thing, because I remember.
I thought it was done. I told JBL, I did a podcast last week. I said, I thought we were over this. I would never have to, I wrote it in the book, Life is Short, So Am I, available at Amazon.com or at DylanPostl.com. I thought it was done. I really did. And then it got brought up. And my Twitter, I would just get GIFs or GIFs. I'm 35 years old. I don't know what the hell it's called.
Honestly, I'm 25, and whichever one you say, you're going to offend someone.
It's stupid. Stupid. I dumb. But I thought it was done. I would just get pictures and videos of roosters and chickens. And I said, guys, this is, it was one of the worst days at work of my life. Literally, they put a live rooster under the ring with me during a match while I was under there. Oh, it was the absolute worst. I could have died. This thing wanted to kill me.
Sort of sticking on that sort of thing, but deviating slightly from making you talk about this bloody rooster for the 55th time. What are, obviously that's definitely up there as the worst thing that's been done to you, but what sort of ribs or pranks have you been involved in or have seen that you're like, oh God, like? So
there wasn't I think people at times were afraid to pick on me because of my relationship with Fit. Like he is and what, like always like been my dad, my wrestling dad. I have 3 dads. I have my real dad, I have Fit, and I have Tommy Dreamer. And so I have 3 of the most opposite of each other dads ever, but I love it that way. So I wasn't the target a lot. And if I was, it was usually by Fit. But I was always the one like coercing others to pull them on each other.
You were that influence.
I was 100% the shit stirrer of the locker room. 100%. And I'm okay with that. Again, I'm putting smiles on faces, whether it's someone at someone else's expense. I'm putting smiles on faces. I'm making everyone's day better.
I think it's so important as well. And, you see tons of it at different points, be it something lighthearted like that, or, even going back to the horrible loss of Brody Lee and the footage of Eddie Kingston that came out of riling everyone up, those sort of figures backstage are what make a locker room. And, like you said, those ribs, those pranks, putting a smile on someone's face is such a key part to keeping everything going. And
yeah, and my thing is, we're on these, especially these overseas tours, we're gone 17, 20 days. You need something about 7-8 days in, when we just filmed TV overseas and we still have a second half of the tour. It's one of those things, and we need that reset button.
Yeah,
and something to motivate us. All right, hey, we had these, we played cards a lot, gin. We had gin tournaments. Tony Chimmel the famous ring announcer / backstage hand / producer / everything.
Everything, yeah.
Everything. He would put together gin tournaments, and we had like 16 players, and we would have and like it was a big thing to win these tournaments, a big deal, because there was like, I mean, we had everyone from like ring crew guys and referees to John Cena would play in these things, and obviously the higher caliber player you knocked out, the more glory you had behind you. And there was a good amount of times where Big Show was known to throw a deck of cards out of anger. He was known to just, or he would rip one card so that deck was dead.
That deck was
Yeah, he would just Big Show wasn't a good loser at cards, but we loved playing with him just to get him wound up.
Just to get him. You get people like that everywhere. And she will kill me for saying this. So hopefully, I was going to say hopefully she doesn't watch. Hopefully she does watch. But I mean, skip this bit. My fiance, she loves Gem or Uno. Uno is her go-to.
Yeah.
And we'll be on a nice relaxing holiday. It'd be at the two of us, my friends, her family. And I don't know what's worse, if she wins or if she loses, because either way, you're not hearing the end of it.
That's my thing. I would rather someone be a horrible loser, because a horrible winner, now you feel double awful about yourself. Yes. Like, at least if I beat the person and they're a horrible loser, I still feel good about myself.
So yeah. We spoken a little bit there about your friendship with or fatherhood with Finlay, but one guy I see a lot on your social media that you seem to have a really strong friendship with is Ethan Page. I wanted to ask you a little bit about what Ethan's gone on to do recently. You know, obviously, 2 nights ago, we saw him step in the ring with an icon and Sting.
He wrestled Sting on pay-per-view. I mean, come on. On pay-per-view, he wrestled Sting in like the biggest crowd. Like, you know what I mean? It's crazy. Julian, he has turned legitimately into one of my best friends. He has went through a lot of things that he's come to me about, and vice versa. It's usually twice a week where I FaceTime him. I'm a FaceTimer too. I'm not a caller.
Yeah,
I'm a FaceTimer.
Face to face.
During pandemic, I missed people. I didn't get to see a lot of my friends. I wanted to see them. I'm a FaceTimer. Everyone yells at me because I'm a FaceTimer. I don't care. It's personal. I can now see, hey, are you just putting me on speaker and like doing things around the house? No, I want you sitting down next to me, having a chat. I'm a FaceTimer. So about twice a week, I call my friend Julian and, hey, time for weekly therapy. And I just vent, and dad stuff, wrestling stuff, life stuff, everything. But he has become one of my closest friends. My son loves him, and my son's never met him ever, but he knows he knows that I love him, and so he's like a huge fan of his in life and in wrestling. I am so happy, like truly, truly, truly happy for him. The world gets to see how good he is in the ring, how fun he is on the mic, his vlogs, even though I hate them so much because I just hate some of the things. I hate the body guy stuff. It just drives me nuts. But now the world is seeing more of him, and that makes me happy. I like when my friends do well. It's not a good thing when you can't be happy for others.
100%.
So I always try to be happy for my friends. And when my friends do good things and are having fun, that makes me happy. He got to wrestle Sting.
I mean, that's the thing. Sting, the crowd, the match being fantastic as well, obviously.
So good. And like Darby is my son's favorite, like number one favorite guy for Landon is Darby Allin right now. So to have Sting, who my son loves, Darby and Julian in the same match, he was just going bonkers. Sting get a goddamn code red. He's 62. I can't do one at 35. He did one at 62.
think something that stands out to me there, and Darby is superb, but I think knowing who you talked about in the past as being people you looked up to, and the Jeff Hardy and now Darby with your son, it's pretty cool to see that.
That's a
enjoyment passed out.
You know what? That's something I never thought about. Like Darby is his Jeff Hardy for me.
Yeah.
Like I don't ever view guys that my son loves Finn, loves Demon Finn, loves him. Then he met him and like that was the coolest thing for him. Kofi, because he's one of my best friends, he's always loved. But like Darby, I don't know if I've ever been on a show with Darby. I don't think so. And like, but he loves Darby. So to have him literally look up to Darby, like I looked up to wrestlers when I was growing up, I guess I've never really thought about it. That's the coolest feeling now as a dad.
Yeah.
He has the love of professional wrestling that I did. And he just wants to watch. He wants to watch. He wants to learn not just moves and how to do stuff and try stuff out, which he loves doing, but he wants to like inner workings. He loves it.
I remember it might have been 2019. You had an interview with Chris, and you had mentioned that your son was doing stuff. He was helping set up the ring at your promotion. Is that still something he's doing? Still an alleyway he's looking at?
If he can't sell my merch, he gets so mad. He just loves to sell my merch, to sell the ACW merch at our shows. He ran every year for ACW Wisconsin. We do a rumble every year, just like every promotion does. But we run a raffle with it. My son ran the raffle last year. So fans buy a ball, and then if their ball wins, they get the money. Essentially illegal gambling. We don't need to go to the feds about that. But my son ran it last year. He filled up 3 boards of this raffle. I said, oh, you filled up the first one? He goes, no, Dad, that was the 3rd one I finished. I go, you did 3? He goes, yeah, people wanted in. And I'm thinking, I have my 10-year-old son at the time running a gambling ring. And he just doesn't see it like it's the best. He loves helping out. He just loves helping out in any way he can. And he loves going to the school and just trying stuff there with his wrestling buddies. And he's enthralled. He really is. There's times I just look at him and my buddies go, that's you. Like literally that's you, how you were. And it's cool and scary and completely frightening and awesome. Like everything mixed into one, such a mix of emotions. But he's such a better human already than I could ever be. I love him. Yeah.
He definitely seems to have the gift of the gab there, selling all those tickets. I think we've got a professional hype man or marketer on our hands already.
And who's going to tell a kid no?
Exactly.
I love when he sells my merch because I sell out, because if he goes, hey, and he wheels and deals. He knows what I pay for my stuff, like for certain items, like what my price point is, and he'll go, I can give it to you for this. And as long as it's above the price point, he knows to keep it above that and we're good. And I said, what did you sell tonight? He goes, we're on to that size. And I just, okay, all right.
Oh.
And of course he knows, because every item he sells, I give him $1. So he wants to sell items. He wants to sell stuff, whether it be a $5 item or a $20 item, he's moving. So it's just, he loves helping out. He just, local shows that I like drive, whenever they're driving distance, I have him come with me because he loves being on the road with me. And he's at that age now where he can be at the merch table by himself and I can wrestle. I come back to him and he just loves it. He tells me, and I'll while I'm in the match, I'll look for him and he'll give me the thumbs up or thumbs down of how I'm doing. And he knows my usual, my house show match.
Yeah.
And I can see him. I'll look at him while I'm doing it, and he'll be able to call it to me from the merch table. So it's the best.
I will say, you've got to call them live events now. Come on, you know, we can't say house shows anymore.
I hate that term just because house shows bring such fun memories to me. Yeah.
It's one of those crazy new things in wrestling, you know, universe and live. It's hard to keep up, so I can't imagine being backstage.
Yeah.
I obviously we talked about Ethan, and you know, for me, the pinnacle of fun on screen between you guys is the wee nominal one. It was, I remember you turned into Kim Kardashian. You broke the internet everywhere I looked.
I didn't think so. I think a fan got that picture of me at Starcast when I did the stand-up thing. And that had a lot of buzz. And like it popped Scott D'Amore so much, and he's like, hey, we need to do this on Impact. And I was like, okay. And then like, you're gonna face Ethan. And I was like, even cooler. Like, this is awesome. And it was so fun. I had to use my son's AJ gloves. I go, buddy, need your AJ gloves for what? I said, for Impact. He goes, oh, that's kind of cool. Okay, here you go. But it was just, and then that whole thing, like, it's still something that weekly I get messaged about, and it's awesome. It was such a fun thing.
Well, I guess that the $1 million question is, did AJ see it? Did he reach out to you at all about it and go, that was incredible, or oh, what was that?
He hasn't reached out to me, but I know he saw it, because I think Carl told me that he saw it, and he laughed. Yeah, he got a laugh out of it. So it was just, I mean, obviously all that stuff is just so a lot of fun. It's awesome.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things with Impact in particular in your work there, that people are, you know, you look at the Grimm's Toy Store stuff with Myers Hawkins. It's, you know, wherever you go, fun is soon to come. Yeah. And we talk about these memorable moments, you know, even in WWE, you've had, you know, being Vince's illegitimate son, joining DX as a mascot. I
remember. I don't have that Hall of Fame ring, brother.
Don't have
me and Tori are the ones that were left out, you know.
You've not got that the Billy Gunn all DX merch income, you know. That would have been nice. But you know, even the likes of winning the Cruiserweight title, WLC, is there, reflecting now, is there a specific moment that you stand out and go, that's never being topped for me? And on the flip side, is there something during your time in Impact, WWE, and you look at it and you go, wish I hadn't done that?
The worst thing, I guess, that when they had me dressed as a cow, that was really like a negative moment for me, and I was pissed off at it, and I knew why, and I got it, and it was what it was. I got paid to be on television, but that was like the one moment where I was like, all right, someone's screwing with me here. But whatever. Again, 2 months before that, I put on the best pay-per-view match of that whole year in the WLC match.
In the WLC.
So I can't be too pissed off about it. I mean, obviously WLC, I'll never top that ever in my life. Nothing I do in life will ever top WLC. It was the greatest match of my life, easily. But all those moments, like I look at, I think it was the 15th anniversary of Raw. I opened the show. I had 3 segments during the show, and the closing shot was me with Steve Austin pouring beer on Vince McMahon. Like, it doesn't get better. That same show, I posed with Hulk Hogan. Like, it doesn't get better than that. So I look at that, like, again, it was supposed to be 6 months. They told me this could be a 6-month shtick, and 2 weeks under 10 years, and so many memorable things. That's always kind of like, I look back. I never watch my stuff back. Still to this day, I just don't. If it comes up on a pay-per-view, I skip it. But it's just I think back, and lately it's finally like hit me like, man, that was really fun. Like, that was really, really cool what you did. And I did a lot of fun things. And it was always like hey, what do we have? Oh, why don't we have Hornswoggle do it? Great. 100%. We need a GM. Here's Hornswoggle. We need a DX guy. We need a son. But I was way okay stepping up to the plate. Every guest host, I worked with every guest host every week, and it's awesome.
I think it's one of those things that I think as well. I think fun perfectly encapsulates sort of your 10 years there, and I think specifically, I think for people especially of my age range, your 10 years and my growing up kind of line up perfectly. So whenever I'm looking back and when you agreed to do this interview, I remember, and I don't do it very often, but I messaged my dad. I was like, speaking of Hornswoggle, I'm like, I was like, remember we used to sit at the live events and you'd be like, oh, I love Hornswoggle. It's one of those where I think despite being someone that was always involved in the shows and used in a different way, it was just done so perfectly. And I think entertainment and wrestling is so important, and you've worked with some of the best. We talked about Ethan and stuff, but obviously R-Truth during the 24/7 title reign mentioned you weekly. You know, he was doing he was keeping you on the screens there.
That's a crazy thing. Like even something like that, like they didn't have to write that into the thing. Like, and then it was every week, literally every week, and it's one of those things that I don't ever think of legacy stuff, but it's pretty awesome.
Is there someone, be it on the indies, in ECW, Impact, AEW, WWE, is there someone that stands out to you that you've worked with and you've gone, when it comes to the entertaining stuff, when it comes to the comedy stuff, this guy just gets it more than anyone else?
So I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon, but Orange Cassidy, when I had the match with him, it's on YouTube with at Beyond Wrestling, I didn't get the shtick when he was explaining it to me. And then he was telling me more about it, and I was like, okay. And then we had the match, and like the first thing out of the gate, I was like, holy shit, this is the greatest thing ever. He is like, I love him. And I feel like with him, it's so black and white with him. Like if you're a fan or not, there's no middle ground, and it's unfortunate, but I love him so much. I get such a kick out of him. Everything he does, literally everything he does, is just entertaining to me, and it's funny to me. And people want to tear it apart about, it gives away the business. Or I don't care. You know what gave away the business is when Beyond the Mat came out, or when the business has been given away for years. I don't care.
I always laugh at stuff like that because a lot of the same names, and I don't want abused on a podcast, so I won't name any, but the same sort of people that sit there and they go, this is destroying the business, are then on Dark Side of the Ring, Beyond the Mat. They're more than happy then. But
that's the thing. It's unfortunate, but it's also not everyone likes vanilla ice cream or chocolate ice cream or this. Exactly. It's wrestling is legitimately like the Baskin Robbins of entertainment. It really is. Like you're gonna find something you really, really like, and some things you're gonna really, really hate and be disgusted with. But that's what makes wrestling awesome. That's why I can watch it with my buddies and with my son and with students of mine, because there's always going to be something somebody likes, and they're not too keen of. But it's awesome.
And I think, especially with Cassidy, I think he's in the perfect place for him just now. Obviously we saw you brought in with Chris to do the Inner Circle stuff at Double or Nothing with the Hangover Baby, and they will really nurture. And we saw again at Double or Nothing, his comedy and his entertaining stuff isn't limiting what he can do. So, I think it's definitely a great shout. I think the future, I was going to say the future, the present as well is really bright for him.
I think it's now that crowds are back, I think it's just gonna be. Can you imagine like the him and Jericho stuff during
the crowd,
with 5,000 people? Unreal. It would have been the craziest thing ever.
And I think we've talked about your promotion as well. Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about that, the work you're doing, and sort of how it differs from working on a show that you're not related to working on your own promotion.
Running shows is the most stressful thing I do. It is just top to bottom the most stressful thing, but it's also like the most rewarding thing when it goes really, really well. We did Water City Wrestling Con this last April. We had Boogeyman, Tennille, Dashwood, Emma, Brian Myers, Matt Cardona, ICP, Kevin Nash, all on the docket.
All on it.
All had it. We're all flying in this and everything. Everything was going great. ICP, ICP cancels on us the morning of. Okay, now there's this. We had fan issues here. But it was the coolest day of my life. Like coming out of pandemic, not out of pandemic, but we're at the top. We're at the top of the hill of pandemic, looking down. It was still the most fun day I've had in a long, long time. I love running ACW Wisconsin, and I think I like it the most because Oshkosh, Wisconsin isn't known as the hotbed of wrestling. But we have some unreal talent that are just cultivating here and just killing it and making a name for themselves here and then moving to the Midwest more and more and bringing something to Oshkosh that isn't the same shitty local band that played every weekend at a different bar, giving them the city. And this is a city that I hold so close to my heart. I represent so much and I talk about so much. I love this city, and to be able to give back to the city that gave me such an awesome life is a really, really good feeling.
You mentioned, a few times Wisconsin being your home, Oshkosh in particular. I suppose you should just check. Are you a Packers fan, I assume?
When you live in Wisconsin, you got to be. There's a thing to kick you out.
Because so I'm an adopted Detroit Lions fan. So
I didn't hear you. I didn't hear you correctly.
I guess, how are you feeling about this coming time, Super Bowl this time?
So here's the thing. I'm a Packers fan. I'm not a football fan. I'm a Packers follower. I like watching the games. I like watching this. From the Super Bowl till the first game, I don't follow. I see stuff on Facebook. Aaron Rodgers is on the outs. Aaron Rodgers is back in. Aaron Rodgers didn't show up to practice. Him and the coach not getting. I don't care. Just get me to the game. I don't care. I really enjoy watching Packer games. Usually because I have a nice cold beverage in front of me. But I love watching the games. But I don't follow anything. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is coming back or not. I really hope he does because he's an amazing player and he's done so much for the Packers. So I hope he comes back.
I think that's the one thing that obviously American football or football for you guys over here it's growing, but it's not huge. But I remember times I've been over in the States, the community around it, tailgates, sitting in the bar, watching it with some wings. It's crazy. It's very similar to wrestling in that way.
And that's the crazy. I mean, especially the Packer fans, because we're the community owns the team essentially. And it's one of the coolest environments ever is Packer games. And just tailgates, they start at 8 a.m. And you'll park 3 blocks away and you'll just stop at different houses that just have tents out with food and beer and charging nothing. Literally, if you throw them $5, they think it's the greatest thing ever, but you're feeling real good by the time you get to the stadium on your 3-block walk.
Well, I've got 2 last questions for you, and whenever I sit down to chat to someone for the first time, I want the interview to have a few questions that I know they won't have been asked, or at the very least,
that's what I love.
One that hasn't been asked before. And I think Alexander Hammerstone FLW spoke about it recently. I can't imagine there being anything worse than sitting down, especially, the guys, WWE guys, Impact guys are doing, 30, 40 in a row and getting what's your favorite match? Do you like wrestling? How did you start?
Literally it's always the 3 questions. How did you get in? What did you think of your stuff with Vince's son, how were Triple H and Shawn Michaels, WeLC was really cool. Like, those are the 4 things that I just have literally ingrained in my head. Yeah, man. Awesome. Ken Anderson. Really cool. Best thing ever. Like,
I'll tear up these last 2 questions about Shawn Michaels and Triple H.
And we're done.
No, so my last 2 questions are film related, and the first one permeates to yourself, and the second one is a little bit random, but I've got a bone to pick with it, so we'll do that one last. Everyone in wrestling has their passions outside it. I think it gets forgotten a lot. You're obviously a writer. We talked about the book. Feel free to plug it once again because you've earned it. Where can people pick up Life is Short and So Am I?
Life is Short, So Am I, and a lot of merch can be picked up at dylanpostl.com. Autographed copies, personalized autographed copies of the book and Leprechaun Origins DVDs, exclusive shirts, all that, dylanpostl.com. They can grab everything. Shipping out, literally, I fill the orders myself. No one touches them. I fill them myself. It's something like DIY that I really, really enjoy doing. It's fun. Whenever and randomly I'll throw in like a gag gift in with them. It's a good time. I enjoy it. dylanpostl.com. Check it out.
Well, like we said, you're an author, an actor, a comedian, and you mentioned Leprechaun Origins. And I want to ask you a little bit about that because my passion outside of wrestling is film, specifically horror films. And I sit there and I will watch anything. And I want to ask you a little bit about your involvement in the reboot of the Leprechaun Origins, how you found the filming of that, what you thought of the finished product. And looking back on it, I think it's 7 years now, 2014, I think it came out. Yeah. So 7 years, sort of, what do you think of that whole experience and that opportunity 7 years later?
So think about it this way. When you go, it's the 4th of July. You guys don't celebrate the 4th of July, but in America, you go to this fireworks store and you decide you're going to spend all of it on one big one, not a bunch of bottle rockets or this, that, and the other thing. You're going to spend your money on one big firework. It's this huge monster thing, just monster. It's supposed to do flames and smoke and whistles. You light it and nothing happens. Unfortunately, that was the final reception of Leprechaun Origins because we put so much into it and had so much love for it, me and Zach Lipovsky, the director, and all this, and just nothing was done with it. And if you go into it with the mindset of a horror movie, it's okay. But if you go into the mindset of it's going to be one of the Leprechaun movies,
exactly,
it's not at all. And it just was, like I said, we put so much love into it, and our mindset going into it, his especially, was so different from WWE Studios' final product. It was very unfortunate of how it turned out. And then on how they promoted it, or lack thereof promoted it, it was even worse. They had to promote Scooby-Doo Goes to WrestleMania.
Have you seen Scooby-Doo Goes to WrestleMania?
I will never. I got a freak. I remember we got 1 week we got pamphlets for upcoming interviewers. So every week we get, hey, here's upcoming stuff. At TV we'd get that, and Scooby-Doo Goes to WrestleMania was in my packet. It didn't make it home. It literally got in the trash at the arena because I was so pissed off at how they treated that. Because it was that, and they did it for the Muppet movie too that I was in. They didn't promote it. This is a major Disney film.
Yeah.
Okay.
As someone who has seen both Leprechaun Origins and Scooby-Doo Goes to WrestleMania, let me tell you, Leprechaun Origins is by far the better film.
God damn, Scooby-Doo must really suck then.
I mean, it's Scooby-Doo with John Cena. It is. I think it's one of those films that you show people and go. People talk about the Avengers as this ambitious crossover. Scooby-Doo in wrestling is definitely up there. But,
okay. Yeah, I definitely don't need to see it then.
Oh, 100%. But finally, I want to talk about a film you have seen and a film opinion that you stated recently that hurt me deeply. I'd written the details of this, and I've made it sound like I'm about to start and call you out for something. On May 29th, you tweeted. No, so you had quote tweeted on Twitter something that was talking about Toy Story 2.
It fucking sucks. It fucking sucks. Stop. No, you're not. You cannot defend this. No.
I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to give you the platform to defend yourself.
1, 3, 4, 2. 1 is the best. The top 5 movies of all time to me. Toy Story 1. 3, real good. They should have ended at 3. 4, fuck Forky. He sucks. He sucks. No one likes him. He's a shitty character. God, I'm swearing a lot because you got me fired up. This is your fault. Toy Story 4 sucks because of Forky. And also, too much Woody. What the hell? Why is Bo Peep shiny? Why does she have like a street ninja suit? This sucks. The sheep, they're shiny too. Doesn't make a goddamn lick of sense. It sucks. It's so, but Toy Story 2. First off, the minor guy, the fat guy,
come on, name.
Jesse's like partner. See, we can't even think.
I think you've proven the point right there.
See, he sucks. He's not a main character. Like, he's not a main villain. He shouldn't. Stinky Pete. That's
Stinky Pete. That's the one.
The prospector. He's not a villain. It's just, I get Al from Al's Toy Barn was supposed to be the villain, but the part that I liked in that movie was when they're on the little typewriter thing trying to figure out the name of the store. The only part of the movie I liked. Toy Story 2 sucks. And if you think it's not the worst, as I say on my Twitch, reevaluate your life. You need to watch all of them again. It's 1, 3, 4, 2. No different.
Well, there you heard it. If there is one exclusive that I think people need to listen to it most, it is right there. Why Toy Story 2 is the worst Toy Story.
If you, like I say, if you have an argument, watch them again. And also tell me you really enjoy Forky as a character in 4, because you're lying to both me and yourself when you say that. It's stupid. It's just a stupid character. Especially when they first find him and he just keeps running off.
Yeah.
Just you're being an idiot. You're being an idiot. Like, and then he's suddenly like, he has emotion at the end. No, you just ran off into walls and shit to try to off yourself. Like, you're an idiot.
You mentioned it there, your Twitch. Plug your Twitch show to the people. Let us know a little bit what we can expect to see on there. I've tuned in a few times. It's fantastic.
Twitch.tv/Dylan Postl every Tuesday now, because Landon decided to ruin my Twitch schedule, which was every Monday, because he decided to play baseball and really help his life out and enjoy something. But he ruined my schedule. Every Tuesday, I do what's now known as it's Hot Take Tuesday. Very similar to this. Something during the week before winds me up. It's like Peter Griffin, Family Guy, the what grinds my gears. This is that. And it started at boneless wings, being called boneless wings, and people above the age of 5 enjoying quote unquote boneless wings. It pisses me off. You're not, but we have fun. We literally, I play usually on Tuesdays, I play something newer, and then retro Wednesdays or Thursdays, I play an older game. And then we play that Jackbox Party Pack, which is
fantastic
turned into
game.
Such a fun, just crazy time. We have fun every Tuesday now. It's just Great Khali is like a star of my Twitch channel. Stormy Daniels has turned into a star of my Twitch channel. It's so much random fun, and people like they actually, thanks to my Twitch channel, I watched Back to the Future for the first time. Never seen it in my whole life, and I gave 3 options of what classic movie I needed to watch with Landon: Back to the Future, Rocky, or Karate Kid. And the first one they picked was Back to the Future. and we really enjoyed it. Like Landon wanted to watch a second one immediately. And so it's stuff like that where a lot of it is me giving, it turns into food 90% of the time, because I have very strong opinions on food and how people don't really have taste buds in reality, and they like certain things. They're just saying they like them because it's in.
I'll tell you the one for me that seems to become the popular thing over the last 10 years. There's two. One is stupidly sized portions of things in terms of.
That's America.
Oh, I'm talking small. I'm talking I'm talking like £50 for some food that is, was it gastro food, you know?
You mean the thing where they say, "Oh, one bite is all you need." You get just all
the flavor. Yeah.
No, I took 2 bites and I swallowed it. I got nothing.
And the second one, and I don't know if you're a big mac and cheese guy, but I'm a big mac and cheese guy.
Yep.
Like if I'm in catering, there's all the food, I want the mac and cheese. You could offer me steak, I want mac and cheese.
Okay.
And over here, people keep putting red sauce, ketchup on their mac and cheese.
Sriracha.
So yeah, ketchup, sriracha, mayo. I
Mayo?
don't get it. Yeah.
So I'll do, when I'm feeling fancy, I'll do a little chipotle Tabasco, but or buffalo sauce, because it kicks it up. I hate sriracha. Sriracha. Now there's a thing that's overrated that people use on everything because it's in. People probably put sriracha in their coffee just because, hey, look at me, I'm drinking a Starbucks mocha something with sriracha. Instagram, click. No one likes it. You're disgusting.
I think the ultimate food sin I've seen, and Chelsea, my partner, if you're watching, Skip, if she gets pizza, she will put sauce on the pizza, but like any sauce. So she'll have she'll also get a tuna and pepperoni pizza, which I think is a sin on its own, but she will get that and she'll put cold mayonnaise onto the hot pizza. Yeah. I think it's a war crime. I haven't quite asked the Italians yet, but I'm fairly sure.
I feel like they'll never allow her in.
Yeah. Well, we were meant to go to Venice and COVID happened, but I think it was actually they found out she put sauce on her pizza.
That's why.
But on that note,
yeah, we're having fun. The Twitch channel is so much fun. Check it out. Twitch.tv/Dylan Postl. Would love to have you, and I can come hang out.
Perfect. Well, Dylan, we talked about fun a lot. It's been a very fun interview, at least for me. I hope it was for you. Thank you so much for your time. Again, check out everything Dylan's talked about during this. Check out the Twitch, check out the merch, and check him out. Just make sure you're following him on Twitter, Instagram, because he will put a smile on your face when you need it. So,
thanks, man.
Thank you very much, guys.
I appreciate it.